Got permission to approach?
No. She was asking me that, Mr. Copeland, okay?
Oh!
All right. You want to speak on that one?
Your Honor, next we will tender.
Wait, what? Speak on it? And they ignored him? Brian Steele's handing out the motion. The judge is reading it right now. The motion to recuse him. Miss Love's shaking her head right now. Miss Love's shaking her head. Day 93 of the Young Thug YSL RICO trial was painful. The state placed 2 of the 2015 interviews that show Lil Woody snitching after objection from the defense. Boy oh boy was today tedious. The state is showing full interviews with terrible audio that you can only hear like half the words, if that. I'm gonna try my best at cutting it down to the highlighted parts where you can actually understand stuff. And at the end of this video, you'll see Brian Steele hand out his motion to recuse the judge at the very end, and everything's so intense and silent. And they're flipping through the pages reading it. This trial's a goddamn shit show. Hit subscribe. Here we go, boys. First look at Thug on day 93 and Brian Steele and Shannon Stillwell on the right and Keith Adams on the left. Mr. Weinstein is actually sick, but he doesn't really know it yet at the time of this live stream, but he ends up going home.
And so the state would ask that we can move forward today with the first 4 interviews. We'll see where the day leads. Tomorrow, have some litigation if necessary regarding the June 10th interviews. Everything he said in those interviews were lies, that he said anything that he wanted to say in order to get out of that interview, that we are impeaching him by contradiction.
So they want to play Woody's entire interviews. Defense obviously doesn't want to do that because it's going to take forever. And there's a lot of stuff in there that's prejudicial to other people. So
Redactions that defense counsel may want. And so we're open to hearing what, if anything, they want redacted. So we can either consent to some things or have some litigation about that. But we're going to start with what I believe to be the easier interviews, which will be January 11th and February 20th.
That the foundation for prior inconsistent statements has not been laid in toto for the entire interviews to be played. Now, there may be specific snippets, but just to play the interview, we do not believe that the proper foundation has been laid. That being said, if the interviews are played, I understand what the state is saying, and Ms. Hylton communicated with me this morning, and I appreciate that. The first 2 interviews, those are interviews, and quite honestly, I've been focusing on the June 10th. I would ask that the defense have a little time just to look at those transcripts to just make sure, if Your Honor is going to allow those interviews to be played over our objection, or over our hearsay objection, make certain that there's nothing in those interviews that should not be played, that would fail 403 balancing, character evidence, etc. Mr. Copeland talking about things he doesn't have personal knowledge of, talking about hearsay, bad character. It's just a very.
I think they want to litigate that separately.
Well,
so.
We're not asking to bring this in for prior inconsistent statements. We're asking to bring it in under 24-6-607 and 24-6-621, which is impeachment by contradiction, in which a witness may be impeached by contradiction in several ways. Close questioning to elicit concessions of error. 2, questioning the witness about the substantive implication of evidence already produced during the case. Confronting the witness with his or her own contradictory prior statements. And that's what I want to focus on, Your Honor. Mr. Copeland testified repeatedly during trial last week that everything he said in those interviews was a lie, that he was just saying whatever he wanted to say in order to get out of there, that the officers were pressuring him to speak about Thug, that in the first interview, he did not come down there on his own. He only came at the request of law enforcement. And we believe each of these interviews contradict everything that he testified to in before this jury, Your Honor. So we believe that at this point, it is right to show impeachment by contradiction.
Fall under contradiction, but playing the whole video, it's like they're saying he said he lied, and we're bringing this as contradiction, evidence of contradiction. But that would be assuming that he's telling the truth in that interview. It doesn't in and of itself facially contradict anything he's saying. He's just saying he lied.
Ordinarily, you'd be right. It would be impeached as to specific things. The challenge in this particular circumstance is that Mr. Copeland's repeatedly said, I lied about everything. And I lied I told a lie as to what would get me out of this. So I think under those circumstances, this is kind of the broadening of it. Because of his testimony, the entirety of that particular interview is probably going to be admissible.
Did he say I lied about everything? I don't know if he said exactly I lied about everything. That might be cap.
This is a problem that was created by the state, and they're trying to.
How did the state make this a problem when the witness testified, not just once, but repeatedly over the last several days, that he has lied about these particular interviews? He was lying because he wanted to get out of this. He told these people anything that he thought that would work. Ordinarily, sir, I would agree. I would totally agree with you, but I don't think the state set this particular witness up for that particular saying. He said it more than once.
Okay, I'd like to answer your question about how the state set this up. The state, we know that the state met with Kenneth Copeland. What was it, 2 weeks ago now? We know we were arguing about whether his attorney was alerted, etc. They met with him, I guess, in the courthouse. I don't know. We know that they met with him. They've done this with several of the people that are alleged to be associates of our clients. They have been asking about statements from 10 years ago. Intentionally have not allowed these witnesses, not afforded these witnesses an opportunity to review their past statements prior to testifying.
Ooh, that's low-key a good point if they intentionally did that.
So they want to play their past statements. They want, I don't recall. And so they bring these gentlemen in, ask them about statements that were made 10 years ago, and have never given them an opportunity. We know that the state, they're thorough. We know typically in trial, when the state is calling a witness, they say, hey, we want you to come into our office. We want you to sit down and review what you said in the past. And they do that regularly in trial prep. They have chosen not to do that for Kenneth Copeland. They chose not to do that for Trontavious Stevens. They have chosen to keep these gentlemen in the dark and then ask them questions about statements they allegedly made 10 years ago. And when the gentlemen say, I don't recall, which is pretty understandable, they say, we get to get into prior inconsistent statements. We get to get into impeachment by contradiction. That was their choice. They should have let these gentlemen review their statements before taking the stand, and we probably would be in a different place. So that's why I'm saying this is a bit a situation that they created. It was strategic by the state, and they shouldn't benefit from it.
Everything I said was a lie. So at this point, Your Honor, it's not about, he's literally saying everything I said is a lie.
Did he literally say that? Those exact words are changing the judge's mind right now, and I need to see if he said that.
I told them lies back in 2015 just to get out of trouble. And what we are saying now is we don't believe that to be true. The jury can make an assessment based on his trial testimony and what he said previously and determine by his body language, by how he testified, by how he spoke to law enforcement, about what was asked of him, how he responded, whether or not they believe that everything he said previously is contradicted by how he acted in court. Schardt is focusing on prior inconsistent statements. Again, we're impeaching by contradiction, meaning what he said in court is distinguishable from what he said previously in 2015.
I get what the state is saying, but they want the jury to figure out when Woody was lying. In court or on those 2015 interviews?
We have a duty not to just play prior statements that are not inconsistent and do not impeach current testimony. In addition,
You're not saying it's impeachment. You're saying testimony by prior contradiction.
it's an impeachment way to do it, but it's not impeachment. For some things. Other things, sure. He said, I said anything to get out of trouble, to get the police to stop investigating me, or words to that effect, and put them on someone else. Also, there are detectives. There is Detective Thorpe in the January 11th, early morning hours, 2015, video, audio, and there are other officers. Those officers give statements as well. Now, some of the statements have to put in context, so the rule of completeness. However, other statements, the detectives are giving information that do not put anything in context. It's their opinion, but I do believe that the state needs to be more focused and not just say they're playing everything.
We're going to recess for 5 minutes, and I'll see if we can find that particular statement. And
So it actually ended up being a 45-minute break.
state, unless you've got something more specific, it looks like from looking at 607, it allows for the admission of intrinsic evidence to impeach specific errors or falsehoods in the witness's testimony on direct examination. So I haven't found anything in the transcript that indicates that what you said, everything I said was a lie. That's broad, and we'll probably open that up, but I haven't found anything. I think you're going to have to probably pare down your examination or rethink what you want to do.
Says in court, I was making it all up. That is
Because I was making it up.
I was making it up, meaning everything that he told law enforcement back then in order to get
You added the word all. I was making it up, not all of it.
whatever he was doing. I was making it up. We don't believe he was making it up. We believe that he was being truthful in those interviews. And so when he comes in court and says, I was making it up, meaning I was saying anything in that interview room in order to get out of custody or to get out of that interview. And at this point, the jurors can either believe right now what he's saying, or they can look at what he told detectives back in 2015, how he said it to detectives in 2015, and make a determination, is what he's saying in court contradicted by what we see in these prior interviews with him.
I completely understand the state's perspective on this, and they're doing a good job arguing it, but
Exactly right, Judge. These rules are not so broad as to just allow hours-long statements in based on specific denials. The idea that I think you also should consider, and it's within your purview, to consider the gamesmanship.
I'm going to stop you. I don't think that anybody's playing and running games in terms of
Well, I think that
I respectfully disagree with you about that. Okay?
So you don't think that they specifically chose not to show this gentleman his videos so he would not recall things when asked about 10-year-old statements?
I don't think that any self-righteous advocate worth their salt is not going to prepare a witness. I don't believe you would do that. I don't believe anybody would do
Well,
that.
why hasn't he seen the videos then?
I don't know, sir. I don't.
Okay.
I don't. And I don't know what their prep entails. But again, we're not going into ad hominem attacks against anybody. Okay?
It's not an attack. I just think it was strategy, and they shouldn't benefit from the strategy. I'm not making a personal attack. I mean,
No, but there are pros and cons about how witnesses are prepped.
So, but they're trying to say just because he doesn't remember, recall, or denies specific parts, somehow this opens up the entire statement based on, well, the jurors should get to see his demeanor. And again, they can see his demeanor on the specific part that is being impeached. And impeachment
But I'm concerned about, because he says when you're asking me about interviews, that's broad. He's saying in these interviews that I have been undergoing, I keep telling you, you keep asking me step by step, said that. When they got me this day, I was going to jail. I tried to come up with something to tell them. That's why I can't tell you what I said. I was making it up.
In my observations, he's frustrated because he doesn't understand rules of evidence. He doesn't understand that the state was trying to lay a foundation for prior inconsistent statements, but just because he's frustrated and doesn't answer the question, and quite honestly is non-responsive, that doesn't mean the foundation was laid. They still have to lay the foundation.
I, at this point, renew my motion for severance. None of this relates to Mr. Nichols. Okay. So I know you gave me a continuing objection. I won't.
Mr. Nichols' name has not been brought up in 90 days of the trial. Like, he's legit just been sitting there doing nothing.
Based upon OCGA 24-607 and 24-621,
he's going back to the state side.
I'm going to allow the state over objection to play the interviews on January the 11th of 2015 and February the 20th of 2015.
There are a lot of people that genuinely believe Woody knew they were recording and lied to his girlfriend. That motherfucker is not smart enough for that. I promise you. He did not predict the future 9 years ahead for a YSL trial. And that situation isn't even incriminating for someone in YSL. It's just pointing out who shot at him, like the rival gang. It's not even involving YSL. All right, Woody's back up on the stand. He doesn't look too happy. Here we go.
Got permission to approach?
No. She was asking me that, Mr. Copeland, okay? All right. Okay. Counselors, you want to take a look at what counsel for the state is going to show you?
This motherfucker is a clown, bro. So this is the interview literally hours after Donovan Thomas was killed. Woody is freaking out because he knows that the rival gang thinks he killed him. So Woody's in there like, I'm scared for my life. They're going to try to kill me because they think I killed Donovan Thomas. Of course, the audio is terrible, so he won't be able to hear a majority of this.
I can face him, but I shook his hand like he's over it, but he's not.
I think he just said he shook his hand, like Donovan Thomas's hand. Why would he kill him?
Me and Kell.
He said me and Kell, Kelvin Watts, Shell Kell, Peanut's brother.
Me and him, we had a problem in the club. But he's not Kell, right? But he wanted to talk to Thug, so him and Thug talk.
So he's talking to Shell Kell about his beef, and then he ended up letting Thug talk to him too on the phone, but he doesn't know what they talked about.
I pulled out my money. I'm on stage, I'm flashing my money. So I'm good standing around. I'm flashing money.
I'm on the stage flashing money.
So I get on stage, I'm flashing money. Kell, in his whole walk up on me. So I look at him. He's like, what's up, bro? Hey, what's up? I'm like, what's up, bro? He's like, Thug still want to pay the window. Like, I guess so, bro. But he in the club, like, go talk to him. You know what I'm saying? He took his neck, he put his neck inside. So I look at him, I put money in my pocket. So I put money in my pocket. Kell punched me in the back of the head. So he punched me in the back of the head. He pushed me to the ground, He tried to go in my pocket and get my money. But as I hold on to my money, the other guy punched me out in the face. But I didn't care, I was holding on to the money.
Now he's just talking about getting jumped.
They had a meeting. Like, it was a blood meeting. And the meeting was about me and Thug.
Now he's talking about the meeting that they kept bringing up where he found out that they wanted to kill Thug and him.
I'm sitting there like, what Thug got to do with it, bro? Young Thug was just talking. Young Thug, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I'm talking to him. Like, him. He with you. I'm like, bro, it ain't no beef, bro. Like, what have I done to him? I ain't never talked to that girlfriend. I never did nothing to him. Why did he? And they know. It's a gambling house. And we gambling here. You know, that Lakewood. They go to stand on top of the roof and shoot inside.
Now he's snitching on his rival gang, shooting at from up top the roof. Remember, someone was standing on the roof and shot at the gambling house, I believe.
Most of them come like, oh, you know, they talked to my me and him, shot on most of them. They like, they said me and him did. You guys know from Moto? Yeah, MOONK, TNOOK, I think.
Bro, spelling out his boys' names. So in this interview so far, he seems to be telling the truth, and that's what the state wants to show the jury, that he's telling the truth in these interviews.
To 3/12/58.
Oh! All right.
That boy's yawning and stretching.
Oh, yeah, I still going.
What is this face right now?
I didn't do it. I never had a problem with it.
So yeah, he's freaking out. I never had a problem with Nut. He got a call from someone telling him that apparently they heard he killed him.
The only person I had a problem with was Kell. I don't really be with him. When we see each other, he jump me up. When they be with him, don't jump me up. Boy, every time, like me and him, we just look at each other. But the last time, we just set each other up. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, it ain't no beat. I don't know what's going on with Kell, man. Like,
What have you been trying to say that the detectives forced him to say shit? The detective hasn't even spoken yet. He's just been the only one talking.
we came to Kell Jordan. 9 Deuce, Inglewood, ABG.
Inglewood, ABG.
Y'all ever had a Infiniti gray? A gray Infiniti Q45 before? A truck? No. A cup? Yeah. I know them.
We just asked him if he knows about the gray Infiniti. I don't think Woody knows that the car that they used was the Infiniti. I think he thought it was a different type of car.
He like this, like kind of stop. Okay. Kind of stop. And he always wear a BG hoodie. And if it's like you around, he'll stand up like this.
Bro is describing someone's whole height and facial features and clothes.
He kind of just shit kid.
Oh, was he describing Shell Kell?
I get named everything. Like, my name comes in everything. Everything. Like, even my first time name ever comes in merch, so I didn't know what to do. I'm telling you, like, right now, I'm telling you, the only reason I'm scared because I didn't do it, and I don't want, I feel what I'm saying, that video my time, all you do, ain't nothing, never had a problem. But I really was nervous. I was scared. I didn't know. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to go in the house, cause I didn't know that. Dang, bro, like, everybody gonna sit here and say, oh, I did it. I know I go through this every time. I can't do that about it. And now somebody's dead. I ain't afraid of, you know what I'm saying, nothing, but I just don't want to go to jail or die about something I didn't do.
I kind of think he's telling the truth right now. He just said, I don't want to go to jail or die for something I didn't do. Talking about killing Nut. Some people are going to think that, you know, he was genuinely scared and maybe he did kill him. I don't think he killed him, bro.
So confused right now, so me and Nut see each other, we got each other. You know, see like what's going on with you. It ain't even dead, it ain't. It's a game. It's the whole clip. You know what I'm saying? They deep.
So that's him saying the whole gang is going to be after him.
I didn't have nothing to do with this. I didn't kill him. I didn't have him killed. I ain't never tried to fight him. I ain't never tried to rob him. I ain't never done nothing to nothing. Me and Kell, we don't see each other plenty of times in the street. I ain't never did that to each other. Ain't never in life, man. Like, never. I'm so frustrated, man. I call him brother, man. So, nothing Kell, bro. He cool with everybody. Nothing cool with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Well, Kell was a problem. But we look at him, yo, that's doing like this. You know what I'm saying? You see me throwing money, I'll flash money. They throwing money. That's all they keep saying.
So at one point he just said Nut's cool with everybody. He's basically saying that he would never do this. It seems like he's telling the truth, but I don't know, man. It's up for the jury to decide, and who knows what the jury's thinking right now. So suddenly the court went on a long-ass 2.5 hour long break. Someone got sick.
Anybody else need a mask?
But when I turned left, the Camaro, like, they go straight. As I read that, I see the same Camaro fly to the stop sign, but he was going to fed it initially.
This is when he's being followed by that red Camaro.
I went down to the house and, like, see what's going on. I honestly, it got me lost, on confused, on frustrated now, because I didn't do it. I didn't have nothing to do with it. Can nobody say they seen me do it? Can nobody say they seen me do that? I didn't have nothing to do with it. They come shooting at my house. They ain't got down to the bottom of the story. Don't know what's going on. First thing, come right in. That's it? Yeah, that's all. If I have anything, you'll see them. I come right back down to the club.
His ass just said, if I hear or see anything, I'll come right back down here.
You want to speak on that one?
Your Honor, next we will tender State's Exhibit.
Wait, what? What, he just asked if they wanted to speak on it and they ignored him? What was that? So here's the February 20th interview from 40 days after Donovan Thomas was killed. His girl in there too.
How do you use him in followers?
So he just said the name Tay. That's the guy that he says shot at him, but then in court, remember, he was saying he never saw him. I'm getting the vibes that Woody regrets snitching and he hates that it's coming out in court, and he's just saying that it was all a lie. That's all he's doing, but he was telling the truth.
So I put they in cuff. I'm still looking at it. So I heard put her in the cuff. I'm like, her get in. So when I told her get in, the cuff turned out. So I walked around to the driver door. When I walked around to the driver door, I opened the door. It was halfway up, halfway down. Okay. So the guy just stick the hand out. I just just started shooting. I ducked. I ran around. Grabbed the baby out the cuff. I was thinking they were gonna shoot the cuff. Okay. I grabbed the baby out the cuff and told her, come on. When I grabbed him out the cuff, I just pulled my gun. I just shot that. When I shot that, they stopped shooting. I stopped shooting. Okay. I grabbed the cuff. They ran back in the house. They ran back to the door. We had to put coal in it. They started shooting again. I shot again. I shot 2 times. Then when I shot 2 times, I just see them red. Boom. So when they red, I read the pen. So I shot her put in. I looked at him, yeah, because he angry tight.
The whole situation with him being shot with this kid out front of his house.
Why would they be still shooting at you?
Cause guess what, man? Everybody's the same question, man. This bad thing about it, I can't say. This bad thing about everything's going on, man.
Detective asked him, why would they be shooting at you? He said, I can't tell you. Everything going on, man.
I can't even say what it's about, man.
I can't tell you what it's about, man.
Who do you think at this point? Do you recognize anybody in the car that tonight, this evening, that shot at you? Do you recognize anybody?
I couldn't even see that thing.
You recognize who it is.
He's not answering the question for some reason right now.
So you saying the loyalty, not knowing who is out here shooting at your baby mama, and your baby ain't gonna stop it? Because you can't sit here and tell me today who you recognize as the person who was shooting at you.
They've been shooting up all these houses. I haven't retaliated not one time. I'm gonna tell you why I have. Because I feel like police out getting me.
You know one of the dudes that's sitting in that car that shot at you, and you were sitting here today and won't tell.
There's people that think Woody intentionally didn't tell this guy who shot at him, but then with his girlfriend, he told his girlfriend in there intentionally so they would record it. He is not smart enough for that, bro. I'm telling you right now, this guy is not smart enough for that. There's this misconception that Woody is some genius.
Last time we was in the club, punch me in the face, try to go and fight with it. I hold on to the win. Nobody take no money from me. They try to turn everybody against me. They even try to turn thug against me.
He said they tried to turn Thug against him too. Dude, I don't think he killed Nut. I'm just gonna put that opinion out there. If y'all disagree with me, I'll have to tell you, but I don't think he did. All of this seems genuine.
They didn't want me and him together because I got a lot going on. And I don't want him to get caught up in it. They're gonna have a way to put me in everything. Woody got something to do with it. Woody got something to do with it. Woody got something.
He said they pin everything on him. Woody got something to do with it.
That's Copeland.
This man's never standing up for the jury. Look how over it he is, bro.
They didn't want me and him together because I got a lot going on. And I don't want him to get caught up in it. They're gonna have a way to put me in everything. Woody got something to do with it. Woody got something to do with it. Woody got something.
He said they pin everything on him. Woody got something to do with it.
Woody got something.
Look how over it he is, bro.
Tell them, Tay did. I'm going to jail.
If I tell them Tay did it, I'm gonna go to jail?
When he go to jail, he gonna tell everybody I told him.
He gonna tell everyone that I told on him. I mean, this is clearly the truth. I promise you he's not smart enough to just lie about this on camera thinking he's recorded. They've been talking about casual shit.
You can go right down. I'm not gonna run from these niggas.
Straight up.
Crazy, bro. I refuse to run from anybody, man.
Hold up. Did he just say straight up to that? He said, I'm not gonna run from these M words. And then he said straight up.
State and record.
Brian Steele's handing out the motion.
Well, this is not a file copy. Just a courtesy copy.
The judge is reading it right now. The motion to recuse him. Here we go, boys. Miss Love shaking her head right now. Miss Love shaking her head. It's so quiet. This is so intense. The judge is flipping through the pages. He ain't even reading all this. The judge flipping through this shit quick as hell.
He'll be e-filed tomorrow, so we'll take it up then.
Who knows if what he's telling the truth? I think it seems genuine, but some people are going to think he's lying and this is a whole big plan and he's the one that killed Nut. So jury doesn't come in tomorrow and then there's no court Wednesday because it's a holiday. They come back on Thursday and then there's no court on Friday. So this week only has basically one more day of testimony with Woody, and it's Thursday. Absolute shit show of a trial. I don't even know how it's still continuing. I feel like there's a mistrial coming at any point. Comment down below what you guys think. Hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Love you guys. Peace out.